Keep your fingers out of the way. Alright, so what we're going to be doing is learning two different ways to make congruent triangles, okay? So the first thing I want to do is ask you, and you will be able to raise your hand and respond, what does congruent mean? Hands. Something that's congruent. Juan, what does congruent mean?
I think it means equal.
Equal? Sort of, yeah. It does mean equal, but there's two things that have to be equal. What are the two things that have to be equal? Equal what and what? Vashi.
Shape and size.
Yes, equal shape and size. If it's the same shape, but it's a different size, we have another special word for that. Anybody know what that is? Yes?
Parallel?
No, good try. Congruent is same shape and size.
Equal.
No, it's called similar. So if they're the same shape but different sizes, they call them similar. So what I'm going to do is just make a triangle, and it doesn't have to be any big thing. And I'm going to make a congruent triangle using my tools that I have here. The other thing we're going to be talking about today are the different kinds of triangles. For example, this triangle looks like it has a special angle on it. Does anybody see the angle here?
Yep.
Jason, what is the angle?
The degrees.
Yeah, the degrees of the angle.
90. 60.
Yeah, it might be a 60 degree.
90.
Yeah, it looks like I made a 90-degree angle. And we can measure it to see. And I'm going to be estimating mostly. But if I did that, I actually made, it looks like a 90, or what would be, yeah, 95-degree angle. So I guess it's not a complete 90-degree angle.
Close.
But the first way, it is close, thank you. The first way that we can measure angles is just like I did. I know this triangle has a base, so I'm going to make just a plain old base. And I just measured this angle, and it wasn't 90. Does anybody remember what it was? Yes,
95?
it was 95. So if I make a 95-degree angle from that point, do I hear you? There's a 95 spot, and then I connect these two places. But I'm going to let my lines be a little bit longer, and then the congruent angle will be right in the middle. And then I need to measure this angle over here. If I measure this angle, I notice that this angle is 35 degrees. If I transfer that measurement here, 35 degrees, be right there. And then if I started from here and went here, I would create a congruent triangle. But it looks like I did a little bit of a problem with my measurement. Let me try it again. Oh yes, I see what I did. 35, because it didn't look exactly congruent. Ah yes, I see. Right there. Here. Now if you look at these two angles, or these two triangles, they appear to be congruent. Okay, that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is to use a protractor. Or that was a protractor, to use a compass. So I'm going to make a new triangle, and this is the one they're going to ask you to do in your book. So I'm going to make a different kind of triangle. I'm going to make something called a scalene triangle. And that means a scalene triangle. Anybody know what that kind of triangle that is? Yes.
Two sides that are the same and one's different.
No, that's a good try.
It means that all sides are different.
Exactly. All the sides are different. If I measured this, all of the sides would be different. So if I make a scalene triangle, here's one of the things I can do. Again, just make a base. And remember, like yesterday, what we were doing is we were using our compass, right? We were using our compass to transfer measurements from one thing to another. So I can take the measurement here, and I can do this. I needed to make my line a little bit longer. Let me do that. So I can transfer this measurement with my compass onto this line. And I can transfer the measurement of this line here, like that. And then the last thing I need to do, anybody have an idea? Angel.
Knit them.
Well, I still have one more line to do, don't I? Yep.
You do the same thing.
On this last line. So this last line is a little bit smaller. And then I put those two together, and guess what? Where they intersect becomes the top of my triangle. Right there.
You're making a house?
And right there. Okay. So I have made 2 congruent triangles. First thing I did is I started with this triangle. I made a base long enough that I could fit everything on there. Then I transferred the measurement of this angle here, and then the measurement of this angle, and I made an arc. An arc is when you just, that's an arc with your compass, and where those arcs intersected was the top of my triangle. That's what you're going to be doing today. We're going to be reviewing the different types of triangles, scalene triangles, right triangles, acute triangles, isosceles triangles. We're going to be looking at the different kinds of triangles and how to classify them. And then you're going to be working on making congruent triangles. Jeremy, is your arm tired?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You can push to the stop.